For decades, the world has watched, fascinated and fearful, as China's power has grown. We've been told a story that China wants to be the next global superpower to replace America at the top. But what if that story is wrong? What if China isn't aiming for the throne of global hegemony, but for something far older, far more ambitious, and far more unsettling to the Western mind? What if their vision isn't about being a superpower, but about being the only center of a new world order? The answer lies in a concept almost forgotten by the West, a philosophy that could redefine global power as we know it. From its booming economy to its rapidly expanding military, China's ascent is undeniable. The narrative often frames this as a direct challenge to the existing global order, a race to become the world's dominant force. But to truly understand China's ambitions, we must look beyond the conventional definitions of a superpower. We need to delve into ancient philosophies and modern strategies that paint a picture not of a nation seeking to lead, but to center. In this documentary, we'll explore the historical concept of Tianxia, Xi Jinping's vision of a community of a shared future for mankind, and the concrete steps China is taking to achieve its great rejuvenation by 2049. By the end, you'll question everything you thought you knew about China's place in the world. The echo of Tianxia, all under heaven. To grasp China's unique ambition, we must first understand Tianxia, a concept that literally translates to all under heaven. This isn't just a historical term, it's a profound philosophical framework that shaped imperial China's view of the world. In this ancient system, China wasn't merely a nation-state among equals. It was the civilized center, the moral and cultural beacon, with all other states existing in a hierarchical, tributary relationship. It wasn't about conquering every inch of land, but about radiating influence, attracting others through its cultural and economic gravity. Why is this ancient concept so crucial to understanding modern China? Because many scholars argue that Tianxia is being subtly resurrected, not as a blueprint for direct conquest, but as a guiding principle for a new global order where China is the undisputed core. It suggests a world where nations align with Beijing not through military alliances, but through economic interdependence and shared values, as defined by China. The 2049 vision, a century of rejuvenation. China's long-term strategy isn't a secret. It's meticulously planned, culminating in the year 2049, the centenary of the People's Republic of China. This is the target for what Beijing calls the Great Rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. It's a vision of China returning to its historical preeminence, not just economically or militarily, but as a great modern socialist country that is prosperous, strong, culturally advanced, and harmonious. This isn't just about GDP figures. It's about technological supremacy, cultural soft power, and a global influence that reshapes international norms. Consider Made in China 2025, an ambitious plan to dominate high-tech sectors like AI, 5G, and robotics. This isn't just about economic growth. It's about creating a technological ecosystem where the world relies on Chinese innovation. But what happens when this vision clashes with the existing global order? And why is the year 2049 the most dangerous date on the calendar? The Silk Road to a new world order. China isn't waiting for the world to adapt to its vision. It's actively building the infrastructure for it. The Belt and Road Initiative, or BRI, is perhaps the most ambitious infrastructure project in human history, spanning over 140 countries. It's often presented as a win-win for development, but it's also a powerful tool for extending China's economic and political reach, creating a China-centric global trade network. This is soft power backed by hard cash, binding nations to Beijing through debt and dependency. Simultaneously, the Digital Silk Road is exporting Chinese internet infrastructure and surveillance technology, potentially creating a splinter net where data flows through Beijing's control. Furthermore, China is actively building alternative international institutions like the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank and expanding groups like BRICS+. These aren't just new clubs, they are parallel structures designed to bypass Western-led institutions, offering a different model of global governance. This isn't about joining the existing game, it's about changing the rules or even creating an entirely new game. But what the world didn't realize was the true intent behind these seemingly benevolent projects. The community of a shared future, a world without outside. At the heart of China's modern foreign policy is Xi Jinping's concept of a community of a shared future for mankind. On the surface, it sounds harmonious and appealing, emphasizing win-win cooperation and non-interference. This resonates deeply with many nations in the global south, tired of Western interventionism. But delve deeper and you find echoes of Tianxia. This shared future implies a world where China's values and governance model are increasingly accepted, if not adopted. It's a vision of global governance where China plays a central, guiding role, not through overt military force, but through a pervasive influence that shapes norms, standards, and even political systems. It's a world where the concept of an outside to China's influence gradually diminishes. This isn't traditional superpower rivalry, it's a civilizational project to recenter the world around Beijing, making the existing Western-led order increasingly irrelevant. The question then becomes, is this a path to global harmony or a subtle form of global hegemony? The most profound revelation about China's ambition is that it may not be seeking to be the next superpower in the traditional sense, but rather to establish a new global paradigm where the very concept of competing superpowers becomes obsolete. It's a long game, played with strategic patience, economic might, and a deep understanding of historical cycles. By leveraging ancient philosophies like Tianxia and modern initiatives like the BRI, China is constructing a world order where its influence is not just dominant but foundational. The goal isn't to defeat the current hegemon on its own terms, but to build a parallel system so compelling and pervasive that the old order simply fades into irrelevance. This isn't a race to the top, it's a re-architecting of the entire global structure. The question of whether China wants to be the next superpower is perhaps the wrong question entirely. Instead, we should be asking if China is building something else, a new form of global leadership rooted in its own unique history and philosophy. This vision, whether you see it as benevolent or hegemonic, is actively unfolding, reshaping trade, technology, and international relations. Understanding this distinction is crucial for navigating the complex geopolitical landscape of the 21st century. It challenges us to look beyond familiar frameworks and confront a future that may be far more Chinese than we ever imagined. If this deep dive into China's strategic ambitions left you with more questions than answers, hit that subscribe button for more thought-provoking documentaries. And tell us in the comments below, do you think China wants to be a traditional superpower, or is it aiming for something entirely